was brought across in 1228. Preyed on humans for their blood. Now he wants to be mortal again. To repay society for his sins. To emerge from his world of darkness. From his endless forever night.
Third time's the charm. We have not had 2 false starts. No. Rutger month has destroyed us. My motor skills are in the trash can right now. I'm exhausted.
Well, I told you last episode, the last people that tried to do this stuck in a rut. They only got 3 episodes out before they imploded.
Yeah.
We did 5.
We got all 5.
And they got bigger with each week. They got bigger.
It was incredible.
It was. Nobody could do what we do.
Everybody who came along for the ride, thank you. We know those were fucking exhausting episodes. They were very long.
Thank our guests, too. They did a great job.
Oh, incredible job. Really, that's probably what helped us get through it. Because stuck in a rut, they didn't have any...
No, they did not.
They didn't have any friends to help. Because we were talking about how big Rutger's balls were, and our 4 hands alone weren't enough.
No.
So we had to bring in the extra set.
Yeah.
He's a
6-hander. Rutger.
Yeah, he is a 6-hander. Rutger, the 6-hand man.
But yeah, most podcasts would just rest on their laurels. Go, we came, we saw, we conquered. We did Rutger Hauer Month. There's nothing left to do. Let's stop while we're ahead. No, we go seamlessly from the blind master of Blind Fury into the blind woman of this episode of Forever Night that we're going to do.
It was such a perfect transition, a perfect segue, if you will,
yeah.
that you'd even realize what you had done.
I know. I'm just instinctively awesome now.
Right.
I mean, that's how we are.
Now, was this a situation where you were, recovering in bed from the difficult task of taking on the Rutger month? Were you just in bed, like cozying up, watching some comfy TV, and you came across this?
Well, I just want to say I finally realized, going back to Rutger Month again, the Bon Jovi video for Wanted Dead or Alive. The whole video is just showing how draining it takes to see a million faces and rock them all. And you just see John Bon Jovi's wiping the sweat off his brow, getting in his private Learjet, the 5-star hotels, how hard the road is for these guys.
It's very difficult.
Now I know what they went through.
Yeah.
We've seen a million bots, and we've rocked them all.
We've seen a million bots. We've rocked them all.
But no, I was just looking for, it's Schlocktober. We got to celebrate horror. We're kicking off Schlocktober with this episode, by the way, because we're so excited. We're not even waiting for our main episode. But I know our buddy Mike swears by this show, Forever Night, the vampire detective show that was out in the 90s. Mm-hmm. I've never seen an episode of the show until now.
People got a little taste of, because we introduced, our Tippy-Tap with...
Classic 90s trash TV show intro. They tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, and I stumbled in. Obviously, it was both of our first episodes. I stumbled in. I felt good. I felt comfortable. I feel like the logic of this is tight. People are taking it serious despite the silly, supernatural things happening all around us. We learned some new things about vampires. If only this was Lycanthropus Chris Field, but it's a little out of his field. Otherwise, we might have had to ask him.
There's got to be hair involved.
There's no Wikipedia page on this. On what was it called? The Karush.
Yeah, we learn about a thing called a Karush, which is not like a Zargtha at all.
No, it's not like
totally
a Zargtha.
Opposite.
It's pretty much the opposite. Hairless freak.
Exactly. Riffraff from Rocky Horror, basically. We're talking Droog speak.
Droog speak. Oh,
which really got on my nerves.
Was that?
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
That was chalky, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I gotta make sure. I gotta get these things straight. Oh my God, the droogie woogies and all the fucking
boogie woogies.
Oh,
boogie.
Sticky Nicky. God, that was awful. I might have to get that audio for everybody else to suffer through, because that whole and they're walking around each other with the
they're
Dutch
like in a
angle.
dungeon in the middle of Toronto. I got to give them props because all of these shows were filmed in Canada back in the 90s. This one actually takes place in Canada.
Oh, good for them.
Toronto. Even though I'm sure it was filmed in Vancouver. They were all filmed
okay.
in Vancouver. But it could have been Toronto. I don't know. I don't know Canada.
Based on the exteriors I saw, I could believe that was Toronto.
There is a mention of Windsor in this, which is right across the Detroit River from us.
Interesting. I didn't even catch that.
There was a rape victim in Windsor.
Oh, I didn't catch that either.
She died.
Okay. So you learned all about what the logic we're going to be working with.
B. Knight.
Nick B. Knight, very much Michael Knight from Knight Rider style
forever.
thing going on here. Yeah.
We were been arguing about this beforehand. To me, he's a spitting image of Benny Hill. He's a skinny Hill.
Yeah.
And he moves like around. All you need is yakety sax. He moves fast, like a vampire, or like Benny Hill.
You were so focused on him looking like Benny
He
Hill.
has jowls. I can't have a hero with jowls, Griff. You know how I feel about jowls.
I will say I thought he had a pretty punchable face. I didn't like his hair. I want that beautiful Rutger hair. We've had 5 weeks of beautiful Rutger hair. I know you disagree with that. You might say maybe 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
But I say all 5.
What was your favorite Rutger hair movie?
Oh, my God. What a question. Oh, I have to think back on all that hair. It's definitely not Wedlock. That's 0.
Yes.
I still liked it, but it's 0. I really liked his Blind Fury hair, but I think I got to go with...
Kind of floppy, kind of...
Yeah.
On the side here?
It was very 90s. It was very 90s hair. I think I got to go with, what's it called? The Hitcher, though. He was just so perfect Rutger in that movie.
That was the best of the movies. But my favorite all-time Rutger hair is Blood of the Juggler, or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, Salute to the Juggers.
Salute to the Jugger, because it was like my hair, super short.
Oh, okay.
Because it was touching his ears at all. I liked it. My hair, by the way, my hair's touching my ears right now. It's driving me crazy.
You can't see his hair. It is short as shit.
Still touching my ears. But getting back to Forever Night.
We haven't had the chance to just do this in so long. It's all coming out, everybody. It's all coming out.
Yeah.
And I spilled coffee before we started recording.
All over my notes are soaked in coffee.
Oh, I can't even use my notes because they absorbed a lot more coffee. Oh,
but Forever Night.
Forever Night.
All you need to know, they told you in the intro, he's a vampire that used to indulge in murder, all the vampire shit we're used to, and then he had a change of heart. He's like, I'm going to atone for my sins. I'm going to become a nighttime detective.
Yeah. It seemed like there was more vampires on the police force, too. Like, I was getting the vibe that there's vampires everywhere.
There was that scene, but I think it was like his vampire senses were going off, and he was looking, because it was, well, we're not going to get into it. We'll get into it when we get into it. We don't want to blow the surprise,
okay.
even though I did blow the surprise when you read the tweet for this episode. But, getting back to this, we start out cold open. Cold as hell for us. We've never seen an episode. So we think this woman, for all we know, is a regular.
That's right.
It's a blind woman.
Just walking along, nighttime. This is how I knew it was Toronto. When you said it was Toronto, I was like, that could be Toronto, because I did a lot of
wandering.
Well,
they show the Space Needle thing.
Oh, yeah, of course. Space Needle.
CN Tower.
CN Tower, yeah. But she's just walking around, no big deal. I did a lot of perusing in the parks at night when I was in Toronto, so this is exactly how it goes.
They call you Dr. Love?
No, I wasn't Dr. Love, because he was at large at that time, and so, no, you wouldn't take up that moniker. But, yeah, this looks perfect. People just chilling on benches, having a good time, throwing the Frisbee in the middle of the night.
Yeah. She works a night shift because she's blind, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
She's a dispatcher for the police, and she has a seeing eye dog named Perry. It was a golden retriever.
I like how they picked a golden retriever. Very
perfect dog, yeah.
A perfect dog. You know, I've seen all kinds of different blind leading dogs and everything, but the golden retriever is really going to build up the sympathy.
Yeah, so she lets him loose. Like, he's got to take a dump. You know, she's like me. She's not gonna clean it up. She's just like, go off in the woods somewhere. That shit's beneath me.
And this
literally
dog,
and figuratively.
This poor old dog Perry. He's been like kind of whining and everything. Like,
he needs to be set loose. He's been cooped up in the police station all night.
That could be it. So he's got to run. He's got to shit real bad. Maybe he got like a couple little dribbles of Vinny's or something. Because maybe like
cop probably, I don't know. I can't imagine anyone throwing any Vinny's away, but a cop may have thrown some away. He got in the trash.
You know how cops are. It's like the ones who are supposed to be like fit and able to chase people down or something. They're the ones who are always camping out at Vinny's, like by the trash can.
Well, guy cleans you out. You don't put weight on it, Vinny's. That's the most fattening food. All those carbs, but you shit it all out.
Whoop! The
His body has no time to absorb those carbs.
Yeah, you can get a slider version of the classic Vinny sandwich, and it's called the slip and slide because it just whoop right through. Right. That's a play on sliders, small cheeseburgers. Everybody,
I got it. Yeah.
I know you got it, but
do I hear a little Velcro? So the dog's always smelling shit. He smells some strange scent, so he runs off into the bushes, and there's like a fucking fresh grave like in the middle of the park.
And it wasn't even a very shallow grave because it was just like dirt shoveled on. You know, it was maybe an inch deep,
maybe, but it was deep enough that some hands reach out and grab the dog by the throat, and then we just cut to that opening. So we're like, holy shit.
This is an intense show.
Somebody just kill a dog?
Right,
you
exactly.
don't do that on TV.
I would not allow that. But at least the camera cut away. But still, hearing a dog cry, no, can't do it.
We cut back to Jody. She's in her apartment, lives by herself.
Yep.
And she's talking to the... I think she's talking to her work or something about, like, my dog, he's not eating. I think
it
I
had
have
to be like her
the
mom
vet.
or something.
Yeah, it's like, I got to call the vet. He stopped eating. I'm worried about him.
She's describing everything that's happened over, like, the last 8 hours in the context of, I need to take Perry to go see the vet. And she just keeps going, vet, 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 vet. And we know Perry, not only a very good boy, but he's very smart. So he hears that word, V-E-T, vet. Even Millhouse. I tried to take her over to my sister's, which is on the, like, past the vet. She fucking cries the whole time from the surgery last year, and I had to keep dropping her off. So Perry and Mills, they both understand. You don't want to go to the vet.
And while that's going on, we're getting interspersed scenes of our hero, Nick B. Knight.
Nick B. Knight.
He's got a blackout curtains or something on his windows, and he opened them. This is why I was like, what's going on? 'Cause we've never seen the show. He's standing full sunlight. We see the sunlight on his face, and he's not being affected.
Yeah, I didn't see this, but you're claiming it's a thing, and so I
well,
probably
it bothered me because I'm like, I thought this was a vampire.
Where's my vampire logic, dog?
Right.
And we open up with his scene, and we know something's wrong with him. Again, uninitiated to the show, because it immediately starts with a Dutch angle.
Yeah.
All he's got is a little card table and then a fridge in the background and a nice little chalice, like crystal chalice, and he pours the most translucent red wine looking thing.
It's animal blood. I did a little research. He does not drink human blood. He drinks animal blood, which is like the lowest of the low for vampires. It offends his master.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we're seeing we're putting two and two together. Like, wait a minute, did that dog get turned into a vampire?
Oh shit!
And then when she's like, "All right, Perry, time for the vet. This is the daylight. This is before work."
Yep.
Opens up, blinding sunlight comes through. This fuck. It's like a window out in the hallway of this like apartment.
It had to be, yeah.
And it's just blind. And the dog's like, "Fuck no, I ain't going out."
We saw the front door to her apartment later on. Yeah, it's clearly it's east facing.
Would apartment allow you to put a doggy door inside your like door? I don't think they would do that because they have a dog. She has a doggy door, much too small for the dog, by the way.
Yeah,
so.
It's way too small. Hey, it was 89. You tell me, man. I was 2.
No, this was a little later. This is 92 or 93.
Oh, 92.
Well, this is season 3, so I think it's 96.
96. Oh,
yeah.
You're right. Oh shit, I'm 9. I got no excuse now. I was going in doggy doors all day. I was a little thief back then.
So now we're like, aha, that's a vampire dog.
It's gotta be.
She doesn't know, obviously. She's blind. She doesn't know anything.
She just thinks it was because she called out the vet.
Right.
So she's just like, fine.
And his eyes start glowing red.
Oh.
Well, actually, they grow yellow for some reason, and then the red to the rest of the show.
Had a transition. He's slowly. Or maybe it's like he has eye contacts and, got the sunlight, so they're still in the process of,
So she's like, which is weird because all the vampires, human vampires do have like yellow kind of eyes in this show. But apparently dog vampires have red eyes.
Yeah.
And so she's like, all right, we're not going to, I know you don't want to get, fucking your butthole warmed up at the vets. We're not doing that, but you better go to work with me because I got to work.
You still got to walk me to work tonight.
And they there's a truce. He's like, he agrees.
So we cut over to our headquarters because, again, Nick at night, he's, of course, a nighttime detective.
Right.
So he's at headquarters, and he's got his little friend Tracy there.
Partner, Tracy.
Excuse me, partner. I just slighted her. Yeah, she's a partner. They're equals.
Yeah.
Except Nick gets paid more, of course.
Right. It should be.
Yeah.
And so she's looking through a dog breed book, and he's like, "What? You getting a dog?" And she's like, "No, my nephew wants one. He really wants a Shar-Pei," which that was such an '80s dog.
Okay.
Like everybody had a Shar-Pei in the '80s.
I was really curious about that because they really stuck it.
Yeah.
They really stuck it
They were
there.
kind of over by '96, but God, in the '80s, yeah, everybody wanted a Shar-Pei.
I'm glad I didn't offend you with how I spelled that out and everything because you were taking offense to how I described.
I corrected it because you spelled it wrong, but
Did I?
you spelled "pay" wrong. You
Oh, I put P-I-E?
said Shar-Pei.
Oh, sharp high.
And he's just like, I love there's a little like, I love how condescending he is toward her because she's mentioned her dog was Sparky, and he's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, which I would do too. Don't give your dogs real names. Don't give
Yeah.
him fucking Sparky. He's like, did you have a cat named Fluffy?
And
He's
she's
just
like,
burning her.
yeah. What is that? Well, he's what, 400 years older than
He's
her?
like 800, I think.
800. So he's got a few years on her.
And he's had a lot of dogs, and he never stooped to Sparky.
Never. And that's a lot of names to go through, but
Right. So, of course, this is a cop show. We got to have a black captain. He's not screaming. He's chill. But he's like, hey, guys, we just got news. The serial rapist is out. Windsor is the last scene. Victim died.
Victim died.
You know, we're on the lookout for this guy. And then I think this is very similar to much of our other Immortal shows, Highlander and The Immortal, which is the superior show with Lorenzo Lamas. They always have to have these flashback scenes where we have lessons that he learned.
Yeah.
From the past.
Yes. So this is where I was starting to think like they're clearly trying to plan like Interview with the Vampire style. He's supposed to be like a sophisticated vampire.
Yeah.
I tried to throw that theory at Tim over here, and he was just like, he looks like Benny Hill. And I said, did you not hear his speech pattern? He looked like Benny Hill.
There's nothing sophisticated about Benny Hill. He's
So-
the most lowest common denominator humor of all. He slaps a bald man on the head for fun.
Maybe it's because the ears are touching your hair is touching your ears. You're like completely
I'm not
out of your yeah. Because I swear he's got like a nice little blouse and like
He's got a pirate shirt, yeah.
He's supposed to be like a woodsman here, and he's
Yeah.
wearing like the sophisticated outfit.
Well, that's what they like. Fucking 100 years ago, you wore a suit and you're like digging a ditch. I mean, they didn't have dungarees. Thank you,
right.
Levi Strauss.
So he's got a little. He goes into his flashback 500 years ago.
Right.
This is log cabin days. You know.
Well, this is about 100 years ago because you learn there's a very famous historical figure that pops up later on.
Oh, Woodrow Wilson.
Yes. And so this is probably Victorian era, late 1800s. And he stumbles upon this Rottweiler. And he's like, wow, I could fight that dog. I can make some money. But he's like, get away. Because I'm assuming maybe, once again, we've never watched the show. Maybe he just recently parted ways with his master. And he's like, I have to be alone. I can't be with people. And so he's like, shoo. And the dog's like, no, I'm going to stay with you. I noticed you're a great dresser. You're a little jowly, but so am I because I'm a dog.
Yeah.
I want to be your dog. He's like, okay.
Oh, I like your Stooges reference there.
I know.
I like that they went with a Rottweiler too, but I don't like what they're about to do to it.
Well, he goes, you remind me of Sir Walter Raleigh, so I'm going to call you Raleigh.
I like that. It reminds me of our friend Joe, who's from
Yeah,
Raleigh.
Yes. And we're just like, then we're establishing he had a dog. So he'll work for this episode. So we go back. He comes out of his daze, and the captain's like, "Look, guys, the perp has been seen at the park. Go out there and find him."
Yeah, we have reporting. Look how fast the nighttime police force works.
Toronto.
We
This is
have
Toronto, guys.
Yeah,
All right?
we have a reporting of a woman being dragged out of her car at the university, and they're like, "All right, we'll get people there." 5 minutes later, people are on the scene. They catch this shit in action. Like, that's how quick these police respond to things.
Yeah. Well, thank God they have Jody, the dispatcher. She's giving all the deets. They're the worst fucking green screen car scene. It was so fucking,
boy.
They couldn't have him pulled on a trailer. They actually had to have a green screen.
I
love he did the fucking Dudikoff driving acting where he's like moving his hands like constantly. He's like, dude, you're just driving a car.
Right. Yeah. Not good hand acting in this show. Horrible. We saw good hand acting in the other.
Not much good acting. Period. The dog's the best actor in this movie.
I thought Jody did a good job as a blind woman. The way she was,
she was good.
The way she was working that computer,
she wasn't like Rutger in Blind Fury.
No.
Go listen to that.
But I also didn't have to see Rutger try to work on computer as a blind person. Jody was killing it. Yeah. She was zooming in, enhancing. I was like, how is she doing this? She just feels the pixels on her face, the warmth based on the color. It hits her, and she can just tell.
Wow,
it's amazing. So she is guiding them because, of course, they're driving. Nick and his fucking drastic-ass wheel action.
Duty driving.
His duty drive. I like that a lot. And so, of course, Tracy is talking on the phone.
Right.
And she's like, wow, this voice sounds very familiar. All right, we'll get there. And then she hangs up before she even has a chance to be like, don't I know you? But she hangs up, and then we see like a split screen, and both Tracy and Judy are going, Tracy? Judy?
Jody? Even Jody doesn't. Well, she doesn't know her name, so that makes sense that she says Judy instead.
You know what? It works out better that Tracy doesn't remember her best friend's name.
So we go. So then, we cut the scene to Jody at dispatch, and there's a cop. Apparently, another cop punched a guy a cop in the nose, so he's bleeding, and it's just blood's everywhere. It's pouring on the floor, and then we see Perry's eyes light up. Literally, they turn red.
Yeah,
and he just beeline for that blood. And I just want to say, almost every dog would do that. You don't have to be a vampire dog. Most dogs are gross, and they would lick blood off of a floor.
It's true. When my dad got his toe amputated, my dog just licked it all day. That's all he wanted to do. Ugh. And then, my dad was bald, so he'd lick his bald head too. Like, dogs, they're just great. They're really
My sister had a cat that would lick heads too, and it's horrible. So we're like, all right, we know he's a fucking vampire.
Yeah,
dog.
If you didn't figure it out when the sunlight hit him and his eyes turned yellow, now you definitely know, because he was slurping that blood up and he got a little red rocket. Right. But, they censored it. Right. It's a very tasteful show.
Yes. So we cut to the park, and we see the serial rapist, Dr. Love, ready to go in for an operation.
Oh, my God. And Murray, we are experts of the Sensei Seagal, and these are words uttered by him. He must have bought Sensei's book of poetry, How to Make Love and Chop Your Enemy's Hand Off at the same time, by Steven Seagal. Because he is telling her, they're on the ground, and he's behind her, and he's like trying to spoon her, and waving a knife and telling her, licking her face, and he's putting his little knife to her eyeball and asking her if she wondered like what it's like when an eyeball explodes. A little callback to Rutger and the Hitcher. He was a fan of that episode too. Yeah. He's a vampire, so I don't know how time works.
Well, he's not a vampire. He's just a fucking.
He wasn't a vampire.
He's just a rapist.
I was convinced he was a vampire.
He's a common everyday rapist.
All right, so he's whispering into her ear about how he's gonna cure her disturbance.
Yeah, we know what that means. Gets the old switchblade out, starts popping those buttons on her blouse.
She had a lot of buttons on that blouse too, because he popped 3. Then they cut away to show Nick like running, towards the seat, because he calms down for a second and listens, and he's got like echolocation abilities,
heightened senses,
and he can feel his heartbeat. That's why I guess I thought he was a vampire, because I thought maybe that was the thing.
No,
I read Interview with a Vampire one time, and I couldn't tell you anything about it.
I read it like 30 years ago, and I couldn't either.
Yeah.
There you go. Everybody go out and read Interview with a Vampire and tell us about
Remind us what happens.
So
Lestat? Was Lestat in it?
Lestat was in it.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I remember.
And so he comes up on the rape scene, pre-rape, and the guy runs away because he's more concerned about saving this woman than he is about capturing this rape.
Yes.
So he grabs her and like, check her out. She might have been fucked. I don't know. And I think we cut to a commercial.
We come back to, and Jody is getting on the bus.
Right.
And that creep gets on and sits right behind
Dr.
her.
Love right behind her.
Even with an audience, he is using that sensei book, all the wisdom.
Yeah,
he goes straight to it. I mean,
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, his game was pretty tight.
you thought his game was tight. He's got that nice salt and pepper look.
Not creepy at all.
Hair off the ears, so Murray was really into that. And his hand acting was good.
Yeah.
I like his knife acting.
But Perry's not buying it. He starts growling at him.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, your dog, he must like me. Maybe I'll pet him. And he's just being a creep. He's like, I'm Dr. Love, baby.
Yeah, and he's getting up in her ear again. And
All
he's doing his, well, they cut in like a Gene Simmons tongue, just like flicking from 4 feet away into her ear. And she's finally getting grossed out enough. No one on the bus is saying anything. Everyone's just too tired.
Literally trying to rape a blind woman. Yeah. And the only one that cares is the dog.
The only one. And he's got fangs now, too.
Well, yeah, dogs have fangs.
Well, yeah, but now they're even fangier.
Yes.
He grew a second
Like I
set of
said,
fangs.
great dog acting. He's looking ferocious.
Oh, my God. Right on cue. He knew his spots. The intensity I saw in his eyes. And with the red, perfection.
And then the bus driver's like, hey, no raping on my bus. And that's,
Bus driver salt to the earth, man.
Right.
Pay these people. Well, it's Toronto. That's why he's salt to the, doing his common good man deed here. And he's even better later on, as we'll find out. He's the hero of this episode, is all I got to say.
Yeah. Well, he's enough to scare Dr. Love off.
He fucking booked it. He ran. He jumped. He didn't do. Oh, man. It was
So
great.
Jody gets home, and she just hits the hay. You know, she had a long day at work. And then Perry, his echolocation senses go off. And he hears a woman scream out into the night. And they must live right next to this rape park. Because he goes, boom, right through that doggy door, whew, running. And then we see Dr. Love. He takes no rest for the wicked. He's just ready to rape somebody else.
No.
And I mean, he just escaped from a cop like 4 hours ago, and he's ready to rape again. And then we get this scene where the dog is like on top of a fucking wall, like looking down on him and snarling.
I loved it. It was like they had a hand puppet up there or something. And that's why they were using the wall like they did. It was great.
And he leaps on the guy and just mauls the fuck out of this guy. Rips his throat out.
So after we just hear snarling and everything, we hear Dr. Love shriek out, and then we just cut away and we come back to and the police are checking out the body.
You get that scene with the close-up of the face zipping up the body bag. We know what that means. He's dead.
Oh, yeah.
And there's also a character named Natalie. We don't get a lot of her in this episode.
She's like a
Medical examiner. She's the only person who knows Nick's secret.
I was going to say, she seemed to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she gets him like blood that that he needs, and she's always worried about him going to his old way.
Does he have enough iron?
Yes.
She made him an iron smoothie by...
Right.
Yeah.
What was that made out of?
It was just meat.
Ew.
Yeah. It's a meat smoothie.
So yeah, so they're in the morgue, looking at and she's like, this whole body was fucking drained.
Yeah.
There was no blood.
Really? Interesting.
And he's like,
there was
and so
blood
he
all over.
starts thinking, yeah, there was actually, he was covered in blood, but no, I guess that was paint. I don't know. And he's like, that sounds very vampiric. That's what he's thinking. He's a hunting dog. And she's like, it looks like a wild animal attacked him. And he's like, wild animal or a karouche?
A karouche? Oh, it's this? Okay.
Yes.
I just like completely skipped over that scene because I was just like, okay, this is just some weird shit that just happened. He's got the stupid Anne Rice accent thing going on. I'm not buying it. I don't like this. I don't like the meat smoothie. We all know you have to let that air out by the windowsill because when it starts getting all smelly and fermented, that's when it's getting good. So that's why I didn't enjoy it.
Well, we learned that a karouche is like the hillbilly of the vampire world, and they feed on vermin like rats.
Oh, okay.
So they all the vampires look down on these. They're the white trash of the vampire world. And he's like, I know a karouche. I'll go see if he did it. So he leaves. While that's going on, the bus driver, Salt of the Earth,
he
arrives at the police station. Hey, I just want to report something.
He's even got like the thing going on where I see it in cartoons all the time. He's got his hat and he's holding it up real close like he's nervous about something and he's shuffling it around in his hands. Could I speak to the captain? I just need to tell you guys about this. You said you were looking for a dog, right? The dog killed Dr. Love. Like, the paper prints everything. Everything. There's no detail spared.
He probably has this police scanner.
Yeah, or maybe that.
He's bored while he's driving.
Bored while he's driving. Got a little headphone in there. Good call. Yeah. So he's shuffling his head around. So I just want to tell you that there was this woman on my bus last night, and I believe Dr. Love was on the bus, and her dog started going crazy. I think it's the dog that killed him. Well, that's not the reason why I'm here. The dog's a god. The dog's a hero. I think you need to give that money. Is there a reward money? I think you need to give it to that woman.
Somebody needs a reward. Give it to the dog.
Give it to the dog. So he is not only, he didn't just stop the bus and help out Jody. He's also like, you need to give her reward money.
We need to give the dog the reward money, not her.
Well, dogs can't spend money, Murray.
Well, I'm just
Come
saying.
on.
But he wanted the dog to have it.
He did.
And so now we cut to this dungeon in Toronto where the Karush lives.
The most amazing and also the most nauseating scene.
He's got a bunch of rats strung up on a clothesline. He's draining them. Looks like Riff Raff from Rocky Horror. He's doing the Droog speak.
Company, is it?
Whoa! Expecting someone?
Oh, bollocks, mate. Almost gave me tom-toms north to Alaska. Not gentry sneaking up like that, you know, birds of a feather and all that jammy-jam.
I'm not one of your kind. Let's talk about dogs.
Dogs, eh? Not my favourite. Too much drool, dogs. Yeah, bleeding barky.
Have you brought one across?
In my day. Might have. Can't clearly recall. Yeah, I mean, you know how it is, maybe a little fast food, double drive-through pup banger kind of thing, interrupted here and there. Sometimes if you don't lick your dish quite clean.
I mean recently.
What, like, since the Cuban Missile Crisis? No, not me, but word up, detective. There's another like me here and about. Karouche type. Vicious, mean droogie. Malenki cattle mutilator. Yeah. Your average wanker thinks it's UFOs making them crop circles, dicing and slicing moo cows. But take my word, defective night. Kitty witties, doggy woggies, horsey schmorsies, none of them safe. Oh, he's a heartless gun, all right, that one.
Where might I find him?
Trying for a rock. But I got me onions peeled for that buggery dog and all, eh? Snag him and snuff him. Hickory stick him in the heart. Napalm his fuzzy butt, hack off his cabeza. Do my bit. Good citizen's creed. Count on me. Don't be so much the mysterious stranger, eh, Dickie Nick? Drop down any time. Tuck into a little bubble and squeak together for the fun of it, eh?
I don't know if I ended up like it was a lot.
There was a lot of Chockney going on, a lot of Droog speak, a lot of Dutch angles,
a lot of Nicky Wickies and Emmy Wemmies and just everything like that.
And he's like, "Do you know of a Karouche that would feed on a dog?" He's like, "Only if they were desperate." But I had nothing to do with that. So he's like, his leads are out. He's like, "Fuck, we never." That's the thing. Spoiler alert: we never find the Karouche that turned the dog. He's just still out there lurking somewhere.
You know what? You're right.
Or if the guy was lying and he really did it.
I feel like this. We'll get to that. We'll get to it.
I'm just like curious. Is this guy like a regular? Does he go to the Karouche regularly, or is this the one?
I have to imagine. That set was not just built for this one scene. They use that set all the time. That was probably the same set the Immortal Bret Hart was hanging out in the Mortal episode.
Yeah, the cauldron.
Yes, the
So Nick goes back to the old precinct. Tracy is like, "Hey, you gotta see this friend of mine, Jody. She owns a dog. Maybe he had something. Well, this bus driver told me he had something to do with it. Maybe they have some leads." And so they go into the room, the dispatch room, and this is where Nick's vampire senses go off. And he's looking at all these cops, like, is that a vampire? Is that a vampire?
Yeah.
Vampire. He doesn't know. He just knows he's feeling these feelings. I thought you were going to take it from me. So they meet up with Jody, and she's like, "Oh yeah, Jody, my best friend from college, sorority sister."
For fuck's sakes! And this is where everything obnoxious on this episode comes to light. Tracy, the fucking worst character we've experienced in a long time. Robert Ginty level offensive.
Well, right at this moment, we're just thinking they got you. You lose track of people. You move on, and so we don't realize what a piece of shit Tracy is.
I'm willing to believe right off the bat that they went to an East Coast school. We learned pretty quickly that they were in a sorority together and everything. So I figured, they were both on the East Coast and, in the States and everything, and they somehow both wandered back up to, home, Toronto. That had to be what happened, right? Apparently not so much. But anyways.
So while they're talking, Nick looks down at Perry and sees those. He reads the eyes.
He reads the eyes,
and they're red as fuck. And he's like, he's like, oh, nice guy. He's like petting it and looks, checks the fucking dog. He's got vampire bite on his fucking neck, the 2 holes.
Oh.
He's like, he's a vampire dog now.
And then he slips into a Raleigh flashback, and here we are. He's got his so. He's in this tiny cabin, and yet it's deep and dark enough where someone's always able to walk out of the darkness and into the firelight.
Well, they're vampires; they can hide in shadows.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Because we don't know this guy, but apparently this guy is a regular, LaCroix.
All right, of course, and we named
heir to the soda pop.
You named,
water.
Yep.
I'm drinking one right now.
Drinking one right now,
and he's turned Nick. And he was, according to Wikipedia, a Roman general or something. He's even older than Nick. And he's kind of much like the Spartan Squad. He feels spurned. He's like Bennett. He's like, why have you left me? We love killing together. So he's always trying to pull Nick back in.
Yes. And he's using some nice metaphors here and everything, and just being like, he's a pack animal. He's not your friend.
Right.
And he used to think that they were friends. He used to think that they were a pack and everything. So he's like, how do you abandon me? We used to go around, we used to go under the bridges, we used to warm buttholes together, we used to get fucked up. And now you're abandoning me for a fucking cabin in the woods and a dog? He really feels slighted by that. Like you said, the Karushas, that's what they,
Right.
That's even worse when you befriend a dog instead of just murdering it and drinking its blood.
Right. Well, according to LaCroix, that's the only use a dog has, and only if you're desperate. He's really fucking hammering this dog what a piece of shit it is, because he's jealous.
Yeah.
And Nick's like, this guy's my friend. How dare you?
He's not just acting out of instinct, maybe? Nicky Wicky?
You give him anyone who gives him a fucking bone, he will worship, He has no loyalty. And then we cut back. Oh, we also got to point out that we learn that Jody, the reason she's blind is she has multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, we start learning about this because Nick walks her home.
Well, before that, we learn at the end when they're with Tracy that she used to be a hotshot chopper pilot.
Yeah, that's right.
And she's losing her eyesight, which can happen with multiple MS. And so she's just like, yeah, thankfully Tracy's dad got me a job. Apparently, Nick had a male partner for the first 2 seasons, and Tracy came out on the third, and she got her job thanks to her dad, and so did Jody got the dispatch job. So she doesn't even deserve to be partners with Nick to begin with. She's a piece of shit.
Little bit of narcissism, not narcissism, nepotism. Happening here.
And so Jody's fuck the bus driver. Jody's a salty. She's by herself, blind.
Yes.
And she's just rolling with it. She lost her dream job. She's fucking doing dispatch now.
Yeah.
And she's just like, hey, whatever. Life hands you lemons. You make lemonade.
She has somehow, despite her disability, learned the whole fucking city. It's in her brain. And she's able to be like, here's where these roads cross. Where are you at? It's amazing.
Right. She might have some echolocation.
She definitely has echolocation.
So Nick, being a good guy, is like, he's also noticing Perry. He's like, I have to study.
He's got to keep an eye on this dog.
So he's like, you mind if I give you a ride home? Because you almost got raped.
They're
gonna
walk home.
And so I think he gave her a ride, and they walked up to their.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
And so she's like, sure, that's great. I don't have to ride the bus and get raped or anything. So so then she explains a little bit about MS. If you're not aware of it, yeah, it can make you go blind, or it can affect your balance and shit like that.
And she continues on about how she used to have so many friends when she could see, and she was, there's a tragic game of Marco Polo, and then they were just all gone. They were just all gone.
Bailed, man.
Every one of them.
Well, I mean, they thought it was contagious. I think they just thought it was icky.
Well, how Jody explains it is that they gave up on her because they didn't like being around a person with a disability.
Yeah, it bums them out.
It bums them out.
Sadly, a lot of people are like that, and it's horrible, and you're a piece of shit if you do that. But yeah, she's just like, I don't want to be around that. Ugh.
Yeah.
And Tracy did it, and she's a fucking
Tracy
lead.
did it too.
They were
Jody.
best friends, sorority sisters.
Sorority sisters.
And she's just like, as soon as she just lost her eyesight, I want to deal with that person out of my life.
They fucked Ric Flair together.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a bond that
yeah.
keeps you for life, and she was like, fuck that shit.
I don't know if we want to mention Ric Flair right now.
Oh, shit.
But, and so she's like, so I'm just learning living by myself, and much like you, Nick, we're loners, We're loners.
Yeah, the loner spirits are definitely kindling here. So he goes up there and he's like keeping an eye on fucking Perry, like, oh boy, what's going on with this?
Well, no, she just invites them up. She's
trying to get him up there,
right? Because she's a woman. She has her needs too.
She's like a mid-card Scarlett Johansson thing going on.
Okay, and so she's like I said, she's a woman. She has needs. She's lonely. She's like, would like to come up. I've known you all of 2 hours. Would you like to come up?
And apparently, she's got some kind of horrible plague that keep people away from her. So a man showing interest. He's got a beautiful accent. She doesn't see the jowls. If she felt the jowls,
he doesn't have an accent.
He does.
He does in the past. He does not in the present.
You know what? You're right about that.
Yeah, I think I'm right. And so he's just like, he's still checking out Perry. He's like, hey, how about I pick you up for work tomorrow too? And she's like, that would be great. And then she kisses him on his eyeball because she's blind. It was a very awkward kiss,
I mean, I'm surprised she got around the jowls, though.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't plant it right on the jowls. So she's got some great accuracy.
Yeah. So Nick goes home, cracks open another bottle of rat blood, and he's sipping on that, and goes back to another flashback of Raleigh. LaCroix, so butthurt jealous. He's like,
Really
I can't
is.
have you. No one can. So he decides he is going to give Raleigh to the Karouche and change him. It's like the dog's not even worthy enough for him to change him. He has to have a fucking moldy-ass Karouche.
Yeah.
Which we never see. We just see a rustling of a bush.
That's very good. Very good. Very menacing.
Like, literally, we couldn't just have the actor that played the fucking Karouche in that scene earlier.
Maybe pop a little dumb wig on him or something. Like, anything. Or have Dr. Love do another role or something, Anything.
No, we
Shaking Bush.
Shaky Bush. So we put two and two together. And, okay, he turned Raleigh into a vampire.
Yeah. But they cut that flashback short, and we go to the next morning. Nick's knocking on Jody's door. He's arriving, and he pulls out a nice little flask, and he fills up Perry's bowl with blood. Jody comes out, and she's like, I don't think he's going to eat for you. He's been real picky lately. His food earlier in that scene, it looked like little medicine pellets. Like, his food looked weird.
That's probably why he didn't eat it.
That's probably why.
And he laps that blood up. Like, slurp. And she's like, you got the magic touch, Nick. What's going on? You're the perfect
man. Perfect specimen.
So he drives her to work, and then he meets up with Tracy, and he's like, Tracy, what's going on? Jody's a great person. Like, why did you drift apart?
Yeah.
She's like, well, because she's blind. Ugh. Well, she is a sorority girl. I could totally see a sorority girl being like this.
100%. Tracy is a piece of shit.
And it's like, and I feel awful. Can you, make me feel good about being a piece of shit? Because I feel awful, and I want you to tell me I'm a good person.
If this was the Twitter age, she'd be the type of person to be, super performative justice out there who's like, I'm best friends with somebody with MS. And then, of course, when Tracy or Jody's like, can we get breakfast together? Ew, no. Of course not. I won't be seen in daylight with you. But Tracy's just like that. She's so fucking...
She's looking for an out. She's like, Nick, tell me I'm a good person. He's like, no, you're not. Why don't you just talk to her?
You gotta talk to her.
That's all you gotta do. And she's like, I don't know how to start it. Just talk to her, all right? She's super cool.
She's still a human being. She puts her pants on one leg at a time.
William Shatner came in and said that line for him. And she's like, all right, maybe.
We cut over to Jody, who's on the other side of this building. She's somewhere, or maybe in a completely different headquarter altogether.
I think they're in the same building.
I think they are too. Jody's just typing away at the keyboard there. And this clumsy officer comes in.
Spills scalding hot coffee on her neck.
Hey, that's a reminder of something that happened earlier.
And Perry this is her master. Of course, he flips out.
Yeah, of course.
And he attacks. First of all, why are we upset by the fact that he killed a rapist? Like, why is it a good thing? Like, everyone's like worried, like, he killed a rapist. He's dangerous. No, he's killing people who need to fucking die.
Yeah,
because he doesn't kill the cop. He mauls him, but doesn't kill him.
Oh, he didn't kill him.
No, because we have a long scene where he's just like literally just laying there, like in the corner. They're like someone's tapping like a bandage on his neck constantly.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I mean, look, she got scolded by that coffee too. She's gonna have horrible like fucking skin burns all over her like side of her face and down her neck and across her ear and everything. So, I mean, Perry was just evening it up. You're gonna fucking scar my master, my lady master here. I'm gonna scar the fuck out of you. So he was just evening it.
Perry does nothing wrong in this entire episode. He's the hero.
Yeah, Perry's the hero.
And Nick shows up. He grabs Perry and like controls him, and then he just got to go back to another flashback. And this we have a flashback. I'm sure they do this a lot in fucking the show. We meet a historical figure. There's this guy like investigating, going through bushes, and Nick meets him up. It's like, what are you doing out here? Oh, my name is Arthur Conan Doyle, and I've heard that there's some hellhound around here in the Baskervilles.
I don't know what it is.
You were so illiterate. It's fucking the guy who created Sherlock Holmes. Oh. And this is reference to Hounds of the Baskerville, the Sherlock Holmes, famous Sherlock Holmes fucking story.
Yeah. Look, I was watching Scooby-Doo. I don't give a shit about this. Sherlock?
And so we're like, I'm sure he meets a historical figure every fucking episode. But he meets Arthur Conan Doyle in this one. That's all you need to know. He's like,
do you only know that because of the Cumberbatch remake thing that they did?
I've never watched it. I'm not a Cumberbatch. And we know our buddy Stuart despises Benedict Cumberbatch. He said he had an opportunity to talk to him. He said, "Fuck that guy. I'm not talking to him."
Damn, Cumber denied.
Yeah. Shakes off that flashback, and he's like, "I'm sorry, Jody. I mean, I know he did all these killings were justified, these attacks, but we have to put him down. I'm sorry. He's different now."
And then he flashbacks again. Very back and forth right here.
Arthur Conan Doyle being chased by Raleigh, and he's like, "Oh no!" And he's like, Nick intervenes. "Get out of here! Never come back to." And looks into the camera. The Baskervilles, and then he runs off. He grabs Raleigh. And LaCroix just pops up out of the shadows. You know what you have to do.
Yes.
You have to kill him. Undo him.
I did him in, and now you have to undo him. And he steeples his fingers and taps them and just looks like an evil guy.
Right. He is.
He's an evil bitch.
Cut back to the scene. It's Jody. She's like, "No, he's a great dog." So, Jody, we have to put him down.
Yeah.
And he's like, but he's not going to go with me. Jody, tell him he's a bad dog. "You're a bad dog. I hate you." Go. And it's just, you see the heartbreak on the dog's face.
So Jody, she's just the greatest person in the world. Tracy, on the other hand, just like, can I kill the dog for everybody? I fucking hate this
I can shoot him right here. She can't see it. She's blind.
I brought my fucking No Country for Old Men cattle gun. I'll just pop it right between the eyes. Let's kill this little fucker. Do you want me to rip its head off and you could keep it in your house? You can't see it anyways.
Nick's like, no, I'll take care of it. Don't worry. So Tracy's like, "Well, I guess I'll take Jody home, get some brownie points."
Yeah, Jody, can you just put this bag on?
Yeah, can you scrunch down? I don't want to be seen in the car with you. Can you scrunch down?
Yeah, it's dark out, right?
And Jody's like, "Sure, whatever," because she's a great person.
Yeah.
Too great.
So
we're at home, and immediately, I guess she's having flashbacks to their sorority days. She's like, "Hey, want some little scotch with your tea with your scotch?"
Yep.
And then I forget, she gave a line. What was the line that Jody says? Like, "You only mix it with water."
I have no idea what that was supposed to fucking mean. Yeah. It was like, you know how you're supposed to serve scotch? Only with water.
And
I have no idea what that means.
She's a mixologist. We're not.
Yeah, I don't know. Anybody who says liquor is enjoyable is wrong. You just drink it because it makes you feel good. Makes you feel like a cowboy.
And Tracy's like, "Jody, tell me I'm a great person. Tell me that you forgive me for all the shittiness." She's like, she's like Jesus. She's like, "You're forgiven."
Yeah,
maybe it was my fault. Like, she's that fucking like.
Well, yeah,
nice.
She starts to apologize for Jody. She's like, or Tracy. So, yeah, I understand. There was a lot of people who left me all alone because of my condition. So it's okay. I understand that you were one of the people who left me, and you're of course you're welcome back here. You can come hang out with
And
me.
then Tracy goes, "You're right. I am. I'm a good person."
My God, you're absolutely.
And then she just leaves. She just walks out the door.
I'm beautiful. You're gorgeous.
Because Jody was like, "Are you still gonna pick me up tomorrow for work?" And it's like you hear the door slam. Like she's just done.
Yeah, I did like that. Jody, she kicked her out. She's like, "All right, leave now. I need to go to sleep." Oh God, I hate Tracy. Anyways,
so Nick, he's got Perry chained to a tree out. This fucking park is a lot of action, man.
dude, there's so many parks in the middle of Toronto.
And there's a lot of raping and a lot of staking going on.
Yeah,
because he's carving a stake. You know, you got to do that. That's all Vampire Killer 101.
A lot of Tai Chi in the park as well.
He's carving up that stake. I know. I saw Kickboxer 2.
Yeah,
I know all about it. And he's ready to kill, but he's got to have one more flashback.
Yep. And it's like parallel to what he's doing here. He's carving out the stake and everything.
I'm sure it was the same tree.
It's probably the
You see Raleigh chained up to a tree, and he's like chopping up that steak, getting it ready. And he's like, "Boy, you're my best friend, but I can't let you have this torturous life that I have as a vampire."
So rough.
So we don't even see it. We just know he killed Raleigh.
Yeah, you just see like the stake coming down, and God, I am clumsy as fuck today. Just knocked the laptop over too. All right, and then we're back into the present day. Perry's sitting there, he's chained up, and they give us a couple close-ups of him like pulling on the chain, and then finally it pans out. We see his eyes glow red. Perry knows what's going on, and he's not going to have any of it.
No.
And he breaks the chain.
Breaks those chains, and he mad dash takes off. So we get two vampire visions. We get the running fast vision of Perry and the flying vision of Nick.
I was going to say, and I like that they went with the Puma Man style flying because he was like wobbling all over the place. So he's not a good flyer.
And so much so that even though he's flying, Perry still beats him home because we see the doggy door flap out. He's back at home.
Yeah.
And we see Jody crying her eyes out for losing her dog. She's just, out of it. A little drunk because she drank scotch with her teeth.
A sip of scotch, yeah.
And then we just see him growling, and we're like, oh, my God, he's going to kill Jody.
Yep. Just see it. We're just doing like quick cuts between her eyes and his growling and everything.
She's like, Perry, is that you? I missed you. I love you.
I'm so happy you're back, but I don't know how I can keep you. And you're thinking like her just saying, I don't think I can keep you is like, that's going to break, the straw that breaks the Perry's back.
Right.
He's not going to be able to take that anymore.
Well, looks like it because he's snarling and he lunges at her. And then we see Nick arrive. And he's all vampired out. He's got the fucking contacts, got the fangs.
He's got his cat eyes on, yeah.
And
he arrives at the stoop just in time to hear, I forgot what I was going for.
and he rushes in. And he sees Jody sprawled out on her couch, two little vampire bite marks on that fucking dog bit her.
Yeah.
Delicately.
So delicately.
And she opens her eyes, and now she can see again.
Yeah, they give us a nice Jody vision, and her focus is like coming into, clear and everything. And then she looks over, and she pats Perry on the head. Good boy, Perry.
Right. She's a vampire now, and Nick will allow that. As long as a vampire dog is a vampire handler, it's okay.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't okay for him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so she, he lets her live.
They go back. We just cut over the commercial break. We cut back over to the police headquarters. And we've got all, like, the reoccurring characters. We got Tracy. We got the medical lady there. Natalie. We got Captain Joe. And they're just like, Captain Joe's like, yeah, Jody was my best eyes in the sky, and she couldn't even see shit. She was the greatest, but she quit today. She said she's going to move across the country and be with her family or something.
Well, she's going to move to the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And Tracy's like, thank God I don't have to fucking see her anymore.
Right. I see. That's fun wordplay you just got there. Yeah, don't have to see her anymore.
It's amazing.
And Natalie looks up at Nick because it's like, she obviously knows about the vampires and everything. She's like, what did you do to this woman? Did you do something to her? And he's like, I took care of it. And then we cut to, a nice...
Some cityscape somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
We'll say Chicago. And we see her with Perry, and she's all she's ready to murder people now. She's like all in on the vampire shit.
I'm gonna give her a pass. You know what I think she's doing? I think she's finding all of the friends who abandoned her when they were like, "Ew, you're crippled."
Oh, that's a good thing. Yeah.
And her and Perry are gonna fuck them up. I think they're gonna give them multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
One bad deed deserves another. So
can vampires do that? Can you give someone multiple sclerosis?
I think you can. You can.
Well, then I kind of understand why they were scared of her now.
Yeah.
Oh. It's like COVID. You wear a mask.
I think it is like COVID. I think she just leans over them and breathes in their mouth.
People, get your MS vaccine.
Please get your MS vaccine.
Wow, Griff, what a great way to start off Schlocktober. It's amazing.
It's a fun way.
But that's not. Griff, we're gonna start Wednesday for the official Power. This is Tippy-Tap. This is the Power episode Wednesday. And Griff, I feel a need for sleaze. And there's nobody sleazier than my man David Hess. So we're going to do, and everyone's getting excited right now going, last house on the left, last house on, no. We're doing the house on the next street over. This is the house on the edge of the park. This is a sleazier version of Last House on the Left, if that's even possible. It's Italian, Griff, so you know there's sleaze.
Jeez, I've been watching so many Italian films. All right, let's do this.
So you're going to get the full, because we get a taste of Hess, like a taste of Steve James. We get a taste of Hess with Swamp Thing. You're going to get full on David Hess sleaze.
It's a hors d'oeuvre of Hess. That doesn't work as well.
Side of Hess.
The side of Hess. Oh, that works really well.
So tune in Wednesday, Schlocktober, officially it's kicking off today, but you know what I mean. See you next time, and keep it spooky.